right. Well, South Carolina, as you know, we have been having record setting heat temperatures as we went into today. And that's going to continue as we go into a bit of tomorrow, but cold front will be moving through as we go throughout the day. So honestly, it just really just depends on what time that cold front moves through. But cold front is moving through tomorrow. Relief is on the way, and not only temperature relief, but also rain relief is also on the way. All of that we're gonna go on and talk about. If you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Hit the subscribe button if you're new, so you can keep on getting these forecast updates. Starting off, what is going on right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina? Right now, we are nice and dry. No rainfall around us except for maybe like in Georgia, Tennessee, but that's about it right now. If we look and see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., we have a huge storm system with rainfall going on from New York, Pennsylvania, going on into West Virginia, Indianapolis, going down to Tennessee, Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama. These areas all receiving rainfall right now, maybe some thunderstorm activity, maybe even with some flooding. And not only that, but this is the cold front. This is the cold front that's going to bring us our cooler temperatures as we go into tomorrow, going into the rest of the beginning of the week next week. We also do have some rainfall behind in the Dakotas, over inside of Kansas City area, and everybody else seems mostly dry, especially out there in the west. Now, what about for our cloud cover? We do have some pretty heavy cloud cover, some pretty beneficial cloud cover. Some may say, block out the sun a little bit, not make it as hot. But obviously it's the nighttime now, so not too beneficial anymore, but possibly earlier it was. And if we go on and look at our cloud cover for the future, especially as we go into tonight, you can definitely see cloud cover continues as we go into tonight, going into tomorrow morning. We go all the way into tomorrow afternoon, and then by the time we get to around 6 p.m., 6 p.m., going over into 7, 8 p.m., that cloud cover is going to continue to move its way over into the east, and now we're talking about nice conditions starting to kind of filter its way through as we go through on Sunday night. Going into Sunday night, going into Monday morning, clear skies take over, and we have a nice start to the Monday, even as you go into the afternoon. Current temperatures right now, we have around a good 72 in Somerville, 73 inside of Beaufort, 70 Charleston, and that's pretty much the case for the Grand Strand, 70 from Conway down through to Georgetown. Over here inside of the Midlands, inside the upstate, the PD areas, we're talking about some mid-70s, maybe even upper 70s, 78 Columbia, 79 Hartsville, 54 74, Lancaster, 75 Union, 75 Spartanburg, 77 in Clemson. Now, what about for air quality? We are mostly inside of the moderate category. Nobody, except for maybe a little areas inside the good category. So if you're out for a long period of time tonight, just make sure that you're watching for the air quality. Low temperatures for tonight, 55 Greenville, 56 Spartanburg, and those are really going to be our coolest temperatures as the rest of us are going to be inside the 60s, from Anderson to Newberry being 62, 67 in Columbia, 67 in Charleston, 69 in Hilton Head Island, 65 in Georgetown, 64 Florence, 67 in Myrtle Beach. And then high temperatures for tomorrow. Again, as that cold front moves its way through, it looks like that the upstate will definitely take the brunt force of it, mainly during the early hours, not really getting those temperatures up high enough. So we're talking about high 60s, maybe even low 70s from Greenville, Spartanburg, Rock Hill. We're talking about Columbia being in the mid 70s. We're talking about Kingstree, Orangeburg, and then maybe even some low 80s in Moncks Corner, Charleston, Walterboro, Georgetown. Now, what about for our rainfall? Rainfall is possible. Obviously, this is a cold front moving through, and this cold front definitely has the potential to bring some isolated to scattered showers and storms with it. 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch possible over there for Greenville, possible over for Spartanburg, as well over into Moncks Corner, Georgetown, Myrtle Beach. So it's overall going to be spotty. Just make sure that you are aware of that tomorrow, and we'll go over the models and talk about the exact timing and see what's going on in terms of these spotty showers and storms that we may receive tomorrow. Now for the crazy score. If you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how active our conditions are throughout the entire state of South Carolina. And right now we're at a 16. Why? Well, mainly because number one, low temperatures are going to be pretty mild tonight. Winds aren't going to be that breezy. Maybe some occasional gusts near the coast, but not that breezy. Dry conditions. Still a little bit of an elevated fire weather concern. Obviously, statewide burn ban is in effect. And mostly clear skies. SPC outlook for tonight. If a shower does get going up there in the upstate later tonight, it could turn into a thunderstorm. Right now, it's not looking too likely. I think the ingredients are just there and in place. As we go into tomorrow, we're also talking about potentially maybe a thunderstorm to occur over there just to the east of Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach potentially. Loris potentially possibly in there. And that's just, again, for areas that if you do get that shower over there, it may, have the ingredients to turn into a thunderstorm. But for right now, not a whole lot of the state. And then Monday, we're good. Nothing to watch for here. Fire weather, we do have this risk here of fire weather. Today was really the biggest day because everybody, except for maybe the coastal areas and some inland low country and some inland Grand Strait areas were not included, inside of this elevated fire weather risk here. Everybody else was, though, and that pretty much continues. Obviously, with the statewide burn ban, it does not follow this specifically, so everybody, no matter if you're near the coastal areas all the way up into Greenville and Spartanburg, you had a burn ban today. You had one today, no matter where it is, no matter where you were, no matter if you were in the orange or not. And obviously, that's still really not even the end of it. Still not the end of it. Because if we go in and look at the fire weather for tomorrow, for Sunday comes along, and we're talking about now fire weather just for the upstate, Midlands, not too much of the low country and for the Grand Strand PD areas, but we're especially talking about elevated risk as we go into the upstate and the Midlands. Still not done there. Monday comes along. Monday hopefully being one of the last days of this threat, as we have now a 40 to a 69% chance of critical conditions as we go into Monday. That's for, again, the upstate going on over inside of the northern PD areas, northern Midlands. Excessive rainfall is not expected at this time, so you don't have to worry about that at all. And so let's go and look at the models. Time is at the bottom part of your screen. Make sure that you pay attention to that because that is very important to do so. But as we start off here at 9 p.m., you push this forward. What do you see? You see some spotty showers here and there, but it's not too heavy. Definitely not too heavy. Even as we go into around 8 a.m., 9 a.m., going into 10 a.m., you're seeing some isolated shower activity start to move its way to the east. But again, it kind of clears out by the time you get to around the noon time frame. And now we're talking about dry conditions for the rest of Sunday. So we're not seeing as much rainfall throughout the potentially like the low country and the Grand Strait areas, PD areas, as we were forecasting. Even if you look on this map right here from the official National Weather Service, they have a couple of areas down in the low country, down the Grand Strait areas that have the risk of a 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch, while the models here do not agree. Now, again, this is just one model run. It's going to change, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow morning. But for right now, I'm not seeing a whole lot. So this definitely will not help with the drought. You may see some accumulation. But it's definitely not going to be enough to completely take down this drought. It may not even put like a dent in it. This is not going to put a dent in the drought at all. We go into Monday. Monday comes along, and we're just nice and dry throughout Monday as well. So long way to go. But as I said at the beginning, relief is coming. We start off here on Monday, going into Tuesday, we get into Wednesday, still no rainfall. Thursday, Friday, no rainfall. And you might be asking, okay, well, you said relief. I don't see any relief here. This just looks like the same old dry story. But look, as we get into this weekend, not this weekend, but really next weekend. But as we get into Saturday, April the 25th, now we're talking about, as we get into possibly Saturday, 5 p.m., rainfall trying to move its way over into the east. And this is some beneficial rainfall that we're talking about here throughout the state as we get into next weekend. So that's definitely something to look forward to. Definitely something to look forward to. Even as you go into Sunday, Sunday brings some beneficial rainfall as well. So something to look forward to for sure. And then once we get into not next week, but the week after next week, we get into Monday, April the 27th, going into the 28th. We have some more rainfall trying to move through, and we get some more beneficial rainfall as we go into the end parts of that week, potentially. And I said it yesterday. I said after this weekend right here, once we get to Saturday of next week, we're really going to start talking about an uptick in the pattern for our rainfall. Now, what about for the total QPF, the total precipitation amount as we go throughout the next 300 hours or so? It does show a good amount. Remember, this is just a deterministic, so this is not going to be completely 100% accurate. So, just keep that in mind. This is just a bold prediction, 384 hours out. And it does show definitely us getting around like a good inch or two throughout some areas. But again, that's not really going to take down this drought. Even if we go on and look at the ensembles kind of show us a story of possibly us overall getting around like an inch or so, maybe even an inch and a half. And I do think that is on the table. I do think that is definitely on the table as we go throughout the next 300 to 400 hours or so. So hopefully we all get around like a good inch or so we can help take down this drought. But obviously this alone is not going to do it. We need to see more rainfall than this. We need to see more. Now, what about for temperatures? Temperatures obviously being a bit of a factor, not as much of a factor in terms of the drought, but it can play one, especially if it's cold out. Obviously, there's not going to be as much stress as if it's hot outside, especially on plants, on grass. And as we get into this weekend here, Sunday, going into Monday, look at how that cold front moves through, completely drops our air down into like around 5 to 10 degrees below average. Getting into Tuesday, going into Wednesday. Wednesday comes along and we do see a bit of an uptick in terms of our temperatures, trying to get more above average, but we're still kind of staying near that normal range. As we go into the nighttime hours, we go towards the daytime hours again, around 10, 15 degrees. Friday, same thing. And then as we continue on all the way into Sunday of the week after, and now we're talking about some more cold air, maybe trying to kind of battle with the warm air and kind of bring us inside of just a normal, maybe kind of flip-flop pattern as we go into the week after next week. So we'll see what happens here in terms of exact temperatures. Speaking of exact temperatures, let's see what it says. Obviously, this is a long ways out, so keep that in mind. But if we go in and look through, definitely seeing that cool down. We're talking about temperatures back down to the 40s as we go into the beginning parts of next week. And then as we continue all the way through into Wednesday, maybe into like the 50s for our morning temperatures, but Wednesday like afternoon, more mid-80s. Thursday comes along, more, in the 80s. Same thing as we continue throughout the rest of the week. But as we get into next weekend, watch, because we may be talking about some more 90s again as we get into next weekend. We get through Sunday, and then Monday comes along, and like I said, we take a little bit of a dip in terms of temperatures as we get into the week after next week. And so we're going to definitely watch for that. We can also go on and look at our, the GEFS, the mean. But here we start off at around Monday going into Tuesday. And again, this is the ensemble, so this isn't going to show. This is more of like a member basis, like it kind of puts all the models together and kind of blends them up together in one average temperature. So we're going to continue to just keep that in mind, as this is not probably going to be the exact temperatures, but it does show us a warming trend, a cooling trend, and one thing that I will say is it definitely does show a little bit of a cooling trend as we get into the end parts of, I believe not of next week, but the week after. So as we get more and more into May, which makes sense. We were kind of expecting that, a more wetter, maybe cooler start to May. But don't worry, we still will have 80s though. Don't worry, 80s will still be here, but just to start May, maybe going into late April. But that's all that I have to say here in terms of our long-term future. So let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off, Mr. Chris was here first tonight. He says, good evening. Everyone, hope you had a great day. Got to around 92 degrees here in Moncks Corner. Currently it's 75. Thank you so much for the weather report for where you are. Right now at my house, we are around a good 74. And our high temperature today was 90, but I did see a heat index, I believe, up to around 93. Marla Lewis says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Pray that everyone had a wonderful day. Thank you for that. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. And then Mr. Chris says, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free, and it helps the channel grow and gets vital information out to those who need it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right now, we have around a good 9 people that have tuned in tonight, 5 likes. So go and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Mr. Chris says, starting getting very cloudy this afternoon, but no rain at all. My Nan says, hello, Jay and all. Hello to you. And then my Aunt Lewis says, currently we're at 71. Well, thank you so much for that weather report for where you are. Today in Georgetown, we had a beautiful day. Georgetown was quite warm and sunny. And then Thad says, good evening just from the 360 weather family. I trust all is well with everyone. It was a chilly, cloudy day here in San Antonio. We did manage to get a little drizzle earlier, or a light drizzle earlier around 5 o'clock. Today's high was around 67, way cooler than we would have anticipated. Hopefully we will experience an upward swing moving into next week. With this ups and downs weather, I fear it may be confusing my garden and affecting its growth. I was quite surprised there was absolutely no sun today, and according to Alexa, we expected a high of 71. Her predictions have been spotty at best. Well, I mean, 4 degrees off, you know, that's mediocre. Mediocre. But not completely out of the ballpark, so I'll give that to her. Maya Lewis says the local news reported that we should receive some showers. I'm more of like on the possibility scale. I don't know if I'd say should. If you're talking about on a statewide perspective, yeah, we should see some showers tomorrow. But just in your area, just more of a possibility because that's a more smaller scale. That says my local meteorologist should be fired. LOL, he just can't get it right. Well, you know, I'm not going to say too much on that because obviously I can't talk myself. I'm not an official meteorologist either. But I just, doing meteorology, I mean, this is hard. It's a pretty hard job to do. Obviously, we can't control the weather ourselves. If we did, there would be no drought right now. There would be, no fire weather going on right now. So, sometimes you just got to look at it and just be like, well, at least they tried. Our current temperature is around 57. Wow, tonight's low is expected to be 55. Mount Lewis says if we get any rainfall, it will be hit and miss. Yes, absolutely. It's hard to believe there have been over 140 earthquakes in the past 24 hours worldwide. I did not know that. None in South Carolina, though. None in South Carolina. That said, at least 20 tornadoes have been reported in the past 24 hours. It's really active in the Midwest. I think they had around 100. I think they had 315 severe thunderstorm warnings yesterday and about 100 tornado warnings yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, there was a good amount in the Midwest. We talked about that yesterday, or the day before, whatever that event happened. But we did talk about that, the Midwest and the Great Lakes. So much for April showers bringing May flowers. Yeah, not really happening at all. No, that never rings true in Texas. My plants are looking pretty good in my greenhouse. No rain definitely needed, absolutely. And that's all that I can see here for me. So let's go on now and talk about the 4 areas outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 areas outside of South Carolina, what am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 4 areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly, and because they tune in almost nightly, we go on and give them their forecast for them. So starting off with San Antonio first. Low temperatures tonight, 54. High temperatures for tomorrow at 69. And then low temperatures tomorrow night at 57. Showers are likely tonight. In fact, they're probably expected tonight. You have an 80% chance of rainfall, slight chance of showers tomorrow, and then tomorrow night there is a chance of showers there. It's going to be a bit breezy tonight and tomorrow as well, so be aware of that. Severe weather, excessive rainfall, that's not expected for you at this time, so I would not be worried about that at all. For your future, honestly, it does look like that you will potentially still see some activity as you go into Monday, even tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, you're going to be active all the way through, even into Friday. A little bit of isolated flash flood risk on Monday, but nothing too out of the ordinary, nothing too intense that you haven't seen before. And then temperature-wise, you're going to kind of continue to kind of just stay a bit lower than what you usually would be, which we did say that for the past. We have been saying that for the past couple of days, but you're kind of staying, in the 60s Monday, 73 on Tuesday, but then you're getting back to the 80s on Wednesday, and maybe even the high 80s on Friday, but even going into Saturday potentially of next week. Now for Raleigh, you have low temperatures tonight at 66, high temperature for tomorrow at 70, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 42. Chance of showers tomorrow. No precipitation is expected for you until possibly like next week, Saturday. But it's going to be breezy tomorrow. We'll say it will be breezy, gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Now for severe weather, excessive rainfall, you do have a risk for some fire weather on Monday, so make sure that you are aware and not burning anything tomorrow and Monday. And then for your future, temperatures are going to go down to the 60s for your highs, maybe even see some 30s for your lows, especially Monday night. But Wednesday comes along, brings you right back up into the 80s again. For Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at 52, high temperature for tomorrow at 57, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 42. Chance of showers tonight, maybe even some patchy fog, and then tomorrow, showers are expected. Patchy fog is also going to be there in breezy conditions. You're talking about wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour, same as Raleigh. And no precipitation tomorrow night. But Monday, you may see some rainfall. No severe weather, no excessive rainfall for you. Maybe even some patchy frost, though, as you get into Monday night. I mean, we're talking about low temperatures Monday night at 33. So it will be close to freezing as you get into Monday night. Temperatures for you are going to kind of continue to go up into the 70s, though, as you get into later parts of next week. And then finally for Duncan, Oklahoma, that's y'all's National Weather Service office is Norman, Oklahoma. But in Duncan, Oklahoma, you have low temperatures tonight at 40, high temperature for tomorrow at 72, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 44. Precipitation is not expected until around like Monday night, Tuesday, which it's relatively low, only around like a 20% chance of storms. But overall, you're going to kind of just stay near, stay in the 70s, maybe some 60s as you go into Tuesday, but you're going to mainly stay in the 70s until you get to around Thursday, Friday, going to be up into the 80s. And you may be talking about a return to severe weather. I know you just went through all of that severe weather, and Thursday, April the 23rd, 2026, we're already talking about some more potentially. So, y'all severe weather season is definitely is not over. So let's go on now and talk about the areas outside of South Carolina, outside of those four areas, and even sometimes even including those areas. As it says, showers and storms will continue along ahead of a cold front for the eastern third of the country. The rainfall for the Great Lakes region could prolong the ongoing flooding. Much cooler weather will also filter in behind this front along and east of the Rockies, where the rain is needed. The southern high plains, critical fire weather concerns through this weekend. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. We have some high wind or some wind advisories going on in the Appalachian Mountains for the cold front. We have some fire weather still over here for Georgia going on into Florida. We also have some frost advisories up there. Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, even inside of Michigan. And we have even some freeze watches up there where we were just talking about over there inside of Philadelphia. Because they do not have a freeze watch. They're pretty close. But I think you're like right off of it. Yeah, you're like literally the next county over. They have a freeze watch, but the direct city is not included in there. But parts of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Ohio, they have freeze watches out, freeze warnings over there in portions of the Rockies, the southern U.S., like the south central U.S., and then also some fire weather going on in the high plains. And that's all that I can see here. Let me go in and check out the chat one more time. Trail says, greetings everyone, greetings to you. Milo says, my goodness, Philly is still cold. My grandson does not miss it at all. Then Mr. Chris says, everyone, please remember to stay safe and hydrated, going to be worn, and try not to burn. Yes, still is a burn ban in effect, especially with that cold front moving tomorrow. Those winds are now going to be pushing, meaning that the fires could potentially spread further if you do burn. And so that's why we have that burn ban in effect. Do not burn tomorrow. Do not burn tomorrow, or just until further notice, until they finally release that statement saying that you can officially burn again. Then Myolu says, yes, if you got to work your garden, you must get up early, drink plenty of water. Absolutely. And that's all that I can see here. So top fans of the night for tonight. This is going to take a hot second to count up, but let's go and count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see. 9, 10. I see 10. Then I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Wow. Okay, so a lot of chats tonight. I almost had 20. But Maya Lula was at number 1 because she was here first. Dad's at number 2. They were both tied at 18, but because my Aunt Lula was first, she gets it. Mr. Chris is at number 3. So congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fans, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. early. Also being here active. And being a subscriber, because if you're not a subscriber, you can't type anyway. That's all. Make sure you tune back in tomorrow morning for your Sunday morning forecast update. Also, tomorrow evening, we'll have our week forecast update, obviously for our Sunday evening forecast update, and the week forecast update for the final full week of April, that being the 19th going into the 25th. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Saturday, and make sure you hit those 2 buttons before you leave.